Is it possible to have residual 2 feet in the water from the Bahamas?
You mean like you're in the Bahamas and you still want to be there?
Yeah, because before, I was not really doing my job because I had 2 feet in the water looking forward to the Bahamas. Now I'm not really doing my job because my feet are still wet from the Bahamas. It's an odd thing.
How long did you go there for?
Went there on Thursday, flew courtesy of Caradonna, Worldwide Dive Adventures. And, man, they do it. When you book a trip through Caradonna, what you'll get is you get a packet.
Yeah.
And,
I saw you sent one picture, and I saw that picture, and it looked beautiful.
Yeah, it was. Now
you got more to say.
Oh, yeah, I got now. If
they're all up there now on his blog, I think.
Yeah, if you go up on my blog, you'll see all the pictures of the shark dive.
Oh, okay. I was checking all weekend, and then I stopped yesterday.
Well, the Wi-Fi, they're still trying to because they literally getting over the hurricane that hit there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I forgot. Like when you're driving through, you're like, why are all the plants like they're brown on the tips and stuff from the seawater and there's sand?
Ranch on the tip.
They're still bulldozing sand out of the road, and you're like, oh yeah, a giant, massive hurricane just came through here. You forget. You're like, oh.
You forget.
How did it look?
It was fine. I mean, everybody they're used to it in the Bahamas.
It's fine.
They got it down pat by this time.
Is it warm there, or is it?
Oh, it's warm. The weather is beautiful. It's unbelievable, and the water temperature is 90 degrees. It's actually warmer in the water. You're like, oh, it's sweet relief in there.
The drugs flowing over there.
It is nice. Bahamas. I always said I like the freedom of them letting you do whatever you want, but. Caradonna, when they set you up with the dive, or when they set you up on a trip.
Bubba, do you remember? Caradonna, yeah.
Get her out of my car.
We'll work it. I'll cut that out in post. I'll fix that in post.
So they give you the dive packet, and I finally got what I wanted. Is when I got out of the hotel or the airport in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
I walk out onto the street, and there it is. Thomas Van. They have a sign for me.
You made it.
Cardboard or chalk?
Oh, no, they had the dry erase board.
Oh, dry erase. No, that's good. That's
It
high
didn't say
dollar.
Mr. and Mrs. Van, it was just Thomas Van?
It said Thomas Van. They had the car waiting for me, and I said,
So you're the freebie, huh?
They did it
This
right.
guy's not going to tip.
No, that's what you get when you book through them. You get their whole.
This guy doesn't tip. He's the freebie.
Everything's planned for you. You get to travel to your hotel, to the dive place.
Yeah, it's all included.
Back and forth. Everything's
all included.
You just hand them. You get this little packet, and then here's the voucher. Here's the voucher. Everything's planned for you, which is awesome. But I did notice in the Bahamas, there's an odd mixture of cars. Because on one end, you have your weirdo square tiny van that you see in traffic jams in Mumbai. You know what I'm saying? That weird foreign van. Those are always taxis.
While an M-Series BMW goes streaking past it at 100 miles an hour.
It is all or nothing in the Bahamas. It was like weirdo van, the van that the terrorists murdered Doc Brown in Back to the Future.
That's today. Got bonked on the head. That's today.
Yeah. So there's that, and then we walked into a Navigator, 2013 Navigator with 20-inch rims on it.
All hooked up. Yeah.
I'm like, my God, it's either rapper cars,
42-inch television folds down from the ceiling,
or traffic jam in Mumbai.
TV's too big.
Now, did they just set this up just for you, or like if anyone calls them, they'll set you up like that?
Yeah,
okay.
They set you up when you book a trip through Caradonna, and it's no money. It's not any extra. That's why it's the brilliance. Because
you're like a king, huh?
Caradonna gets discounts through them, so you're not paying. It's like if you try to do it yourself, you're paying the same, but you don't get that.
And they had you diving suit and all that stuff.
Oh yeah. And
I can't believe they let you put the flippers on with that foot fungus.
So I'll tell you, when we got over, and also I did notice in the Bahamas too, like when you're negotiating with someone, if you're buying maybe some beads,
I know it's smokable beads.
But if you're buying beads or some sort of sundress,
you have beads that will make my eyes red and make me not care about how my day's gonna pass.
Little green beads.
You know those beads?
If a lady comes up to you, it happened. She's like selling sundresses. Has a bunch of them and necklaces or whatever. And my wife's looking through and she's like, sundress, and I'm like, how much? And she's like, $40, right?
That's fair for a dress that once I wash it, it'll look like I shrink wrap myself in bad print.
So I know it's negotiation time, so I'm like, I'll give you.
Is this 100% rotten rag? Is this authentic rotten rag?
Now I'm used to negotiating where you give a low ball, then they meet you in the middle. Negotiation.
looks like to me this is 100% genuine. The person who left it here before.
Yeah, so I'm like, I'll give you.
Is this tie-dye or bloodstains?
Oh, $40. I'll give you $5. Deal. And I'm like, I probably could have said one.
And they're
starving over there,
and
man.
they
You
still,
blew it.
And they still made 100% profit.
Especially during a rebuilding period after a hurricane.
The negotiation process is just you offer anything less, and
you could have traded her your shirt for it. You know,
like a deal. And I'm like, damn, I could have said $1. But so
I'm tired of carrying this back to my van.
So it's time to dive. Our first day, because I'm going to get to the shark dive, and this is the exciting part because I got some stories with that.
Finally.
So Stewart Cove's dive adventures down there. Who does it? They're famous around the world. They've done tons of movies. Tons of celebrities have gone and dove there. And the manager, Kat, picks us up and was driving. This is a 100% true story. And she's like showing like the rich parts of the Bahamas where all the celebrities, like this is where Tiger Woods' house is.
Madonna's got a house.
Yeah, everybody's got all the multi-millionaires have the houses there. And she's like, if you see a green Jaguar, with the convertible, that's Sean Connery. He lives here, and he's here all the time. And I swear to you, 10 minutes later, right by us, I'm like, Sean Connery!
Really? Wow, are you kidding?
Green convertible, gray Sean Connery.
No way.
Yeah, and then I'm like,
That's a huge deal.
I'm like, I love your stance on whether or not to hit women.
I love your breath. Like Asian chick.
I'm like, Sean Connery, and apparently, like, he filmed one of the James Bond movies. Like, Bubba, you can see my.
Look at that with the sharks.
I like your carefree attitude. YOLO.
That's Drunky Swimming with Sharks. You can see it on the website, by the way, at monsters.fm. If you go to Drunky's blog, you can see it.
I don't know which would be better, diving with sharks or hearing Sean Connery say YOLO.
So our first dive, now, like, Stewart Cove's, and it's funny because I thought it was Stewart's Cove.
Yeah.
But the owner's name is Stewart Cove.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
He's got
Last name Cove.
It's a weird name. It's called Stewart's Cove Cove.
Stewart Cove's Cove.
If you were going to own a dive, organization in the Bahamas, you're born.
Yeah, it'd be like if I was born and my parents named me regulator wetsuit man. There, you're the perfect
We
dive
know what
name.
you're gonna do.
We know you.
Is it actually in a cove?
It's where they filmed Flipper too. Like it's all wood. It's like they filmed
Flipper, like the original TV show back in. Oh wow!
It's like the Flipper was filmed there and a bunch of other things. And then when you look at the wall of like they filmed 007 back when Sean Connery was doing it. Like Jackass was there. Steve-O did the shark dives. They MythBusters guys were there. They
Sean
Shark
Connery
Week.
lives in the Bahamas.
Yeah, and he brings his family down there all the time, and they dive there all the time.
There's no rules against beating women here.
He does not care.
There's no rules.
There's lenience on that.
So we go for the first shark dive, and the first one was to introduce us to the sharks.
YOLO.
So as soon as you get in the water, like as soon as the boat pulls up, like you look and they're like, oh, there's a shark, and there's sharks circling the boat already.
Oh man!
And then and these are between 8 and 10 foot Caribbean reef sharks.
Right.
So, like, in the back of your mind, you're thinking, I'm getting in the water with there's 30 or 40 of them down there everywhere.
That's amazing. I mean, you got to see these photos. Go to our website, monsters.fm, and see these photos of Drunky swimming with sharks. These are huge.
Yeah, and so here's the thing. We got to do something awesome, and anybody can do this, and what they do
win
is
the trip, right?
Yeah, you could. Yeah, if you go on Caradonna's Facebook page, you could basically enter to win the same trip that I took. So I would do that because this was unbelievable. This is one of the top 2, maybe even the best experience I've ever had.
Bucket list thing.
By far the most
best
insane diving and most insane animal encounter I've ever had in my entire life.
So you're telling me this is better than being locked inside of the Mini Cooper deal?
So in your mind, did you think there was a possibility one of these sharks could freak out and attack you?
When before we did it, but and then they were telling us, and luckily, like Charlotte was our dive master, and she's a conservationist, and she was explaining about the shark. She's like, I love doing this because it totally reverses any misconception you have about how sharks behave. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody thinks of sharks in one way, and then when you do this, you'll be totally changed. And like at first you're like, okay, everybody says that. But we go down there, and the first shark feeding, she does it. Now, we're not in chainmail for the first one. We're sitting on the bow of the ship underwater called the Ray of Hope. It's this giant old tanker. So we're sitting
like
on
the Madonna. Oh no, that was Ray of Light. Never mind.
So we're sitting on the bow, and then they bring down this feeding box, which is a box of the recycled fish heads and everything. thing. They bring it down. They set it up there. While she's coming down, their sharks are circling her. She's got the chainmail on.
When you say sharks, like how many? 3?
No, 20 plus. Like 20 plus are circling her.
So if one shark freaks out and a little bit of blood gets in the water, do they go into some sort of a shark?
Don't they have a pack mentality?
This is the thing. That's all misconception. That's all myth. So she sits down there, and we're from here to the clock, maybe even closer. We're say this in the middle of the table. Now we're sitting. You can see in some of the pictures. I'm going to be putting more pictures up because Chris, our photographer, took tons of pictures and video that I'll have up at the end of the week. So we're sitting there, and then she's feeding the sharks from here to in the middle of this table. We're 3 feet away from these sharks, and as soon as like she'll pull the spear out and have a fish head on it, and the shark will come and grab it, and then she'll pull the spear out, and then as soon as she opens that box, they start coming. But it's weird, but they act like dumb puppies. And this is an odd analogy, but it's like if you had a bunch of like Jimmy-sized dogs, that big dog he has, and a bunch of them like big dumb ogres. And then you pull out a treat, and they're all like, "Oh, where's the treat? I smell something. I smell something." Yeah.
Like a pupperoni.
Yeah, they're not aggressive. They're just curious. They're like, "Hey, where's the thing?" And they're bumping into you. They're like, and they're very precise, but in one way, kind of like clumsily. They don't give a damn about you. Like we're sitting there right there. There's bait, a huge thing of fish heads, and they could care less about the humans. All they do, they sense and they
on the food like a dog.
Yeah, they sense the food, and that's all they're interested in.
But in Jaws, they were hunting them down.
They're not interested in biting humans. They're not interested in, I mean, we're with no chainmail, a foot from a box full of fish heads, and they're just bumping into us like, where's the fish? We're like, 30 sharks swimming around you. They could care less about humans. They don't, I mean, even when she pulls out the fish head, I mean, they grab the fish head, and then you pull it out, and then they're like, oh, where is it? Well, they're like bumping into us. Like, I mean, we could reach up and pet them and grab them. So that was our introductory, like,
pet them, grab them.
Introducing
you
us to the
encourage people
sharks.
to do that, right?
So the next dive we do is we suit up, and we're going to feed them, you know, and then this is what we've been waiting for. This is like the pinnacle of the trip. So
Van, get in there.
They're